Hey friends, Patrick McGuire here, just going through a couple of things, working through some questions we have from the members group, from many different founders and even investors all through the process. So I'm just going to record a couple of these for us to be able to save them, to notarize them, to be able to share them, and to dig in deep and help you just fast track your success so that you can be empowered. All right, so these questions come in from multiple sources, and just going to share this. This is all about fundraising strategy and prep. So we want to make sure that we're getting everybody ready. We want to make sure that everybody's hustling and everybody's doing the right things. Of course, this is just some founders resources that I'm happy to share from my personal experience, as well as some enhanced ones and stories and anecdotes from others. So when it comes to fundraising strategy and prep, it is essential. You have to remember something, and I want to say this up front. You may think that you're just fundraising. You may be more keyed on selling your product. But what I'm going to tell you is that you are currently in the most critical sales role of your entire founder life. You're selling equity. The most valuable, the most precious, and possibly the most expensive mistake you're going to make, like I did many, many years ago. We'll talk about that more another time. I digress. Let's get into this thing. Let's hit up about 10, 20 questions and we'll chop them up and share them out. So what's the first thing a founder should actually do before they start raising capital? Validate the narrative. Before you build a deck or a data room or anything, you need a story to tell investors, a story that investors will lean into, the big vision, the credible plan, and a believable path to the ROI. Most founders absolutely skip this and they lead with product. That's a mistake. Tell them about the problem. Tell them about the team. Tell them about the solution. Tell them about your timeline. Tell them about you. And that's what I would say is make sure you get the narrative right for these investors. How do you know when you're ready to raise seed or Series A, B, C, or otherwise? Well, when you've proven something that is repeatable. For seed, that might be user traction or technology validation. For Series A, it's a little bit different. It's typically growth, retention, and a scalable go-to-market model, GTM. If you're still guessing, you're not ready to raise. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're thinking. But if you're still guessing, am I in pre-seed, friends and family, seed, series, you're not ready. You're thinking about all the wrong things. Another question, what's the difference between a nice deck and a fundable investor narrative? A nice deck looks good. A fundable narrative sells the upside. It's structured like a sales funnel. It has clarity, it has momentum and belief. The difference is persuasion, not just design. So what makes a startup investable at a seed versus a Series A? Well, at seed, it's founder market fit, the vision and traditional signals. At Series A, investors look for operational proof, growth, CAC, LTV versus retention and scalable infrastructure. Seed sells vision. Series A sells execution. Don't get me wrong, you got to execute in everything, of course, but that's kind of the difference. How should founders think about valuation at each stage? Valuation is positioning. Don't overshoot it. It'll kill the deal. It does. It kills deals. Anchor to make the market comps. Early traction. Long-term potential. At seed, don't optimize for the highest number. Optimize for momentum and closability. Bad word, I know, but closability. You want to make sure that you can get that market momentum and you can close those deals. And the investors should line up and puts you in a power position, not them. All right, let's talk a little more about the GTM and traction for funding. What role does a go-to-market strategy play in fundraising? It's everything. GTM tells investors how you plan to turn their capital into growth. Without it, you're not just asking for something. You're not just asking for money without a plan. Like, that's really bad. Show the channels, the tactics, the milestones, and how it scales. Show them how you're going to turn their money into more money. How much traction is enough before raising? I would say you can never have enough traction, of course, but enough to prove demand. That could be revenue, engagement, wait lists, LOIs, investors, whatever it is. Follow-on investors come along with other investors. Investors want signals that something's working, even at a very small scale, and that you're learning and iterating. What signals matter more to investors than revenue? Retention, activation, customer obsession. Investors look for evidence of product market fit, not just a top line number. Show that you understand the problem and that people are sticking around. Can you fake traction, and should you? Yes, but no. You can emphasize the right story, but never fake data. Use proxies, LOIs, early users, market insights, but stay truthful and honest. Investors do due diligence. Don't give them a reason to walk or run away. What's your advice on pricing or packaging to attract investors? Well, show how you make money and how you scale. Even if you're early, maybe you don't have users yet, but if you're early and you have a plan, show it. Pricing is part of your GTM. Keep it simple, but show it how it leads to long-term margins and market dominance. That'll make a difference for an investor. All right, let's talk about investor outreach and pipeline building. What's the biggest myth about warm intros? That they're required? You don't need a warm intro, but you do need a warm intro. They help, but most founders never scale past their own private, tight network. They're too scared. They have imposter syndrome. There's so much more, but outbound works. That's one of those myths that's out there is you need to take warm intros, cold outros, turn them into warm intros, and then grow and scale from there. You need a cold investor list, messaging system, and follow-ups, just like sales. Because as I mentioned earlier, equity is sales. You are in sales. What does a scalable investor outreach system look like? Well, in the very rudimentary, simple ways of doing it, create a target list of 100 to 200 relative investors, segmented by stage and thesis, even just their opinions. Personalized outreach, automated follow-ups, a CRM to track it all, even if it's just a notepad on the side, like I've done in many of my businesses back in the day that were less organized, less intelligent. Think of it like an SDR playbook, but for capital. It's still a sales funnel. And here's my real simple punch in the gut. You're going to hate it, but this is the model. 100 messages per day times 30 days. Follow up on those because 20% will ask for more details or respond to you. Create 10 shorts at least right now. Go out and create 10 shorts and schedule them to release over the next 10, 20 days. One a day is really good. If you can do one every other day, that's okay. But I want you to create 10 shorts, punch them out there, go create 10 more next week, punch them out there. Now you've got extras. Run about 30 days of messaging. Send 100 messages a day for 30 days. You're guaranteed to get a response, even if you do it manually using your warmish network on LinkedIn. Reach everybody. All right. How many investors should a founder reach out to for a seed round? Well, expect to reach out to 100 plus with at least 5 to 7 touch points each. Most founders will stop too early. They quit, they give up, they get tired, they get busy, they get distracted. They go back to focusing on product and product sales. The money is in the follow-up. Fundraising is a numbers game. What tools or automations do you recommend for managing investor pipelines? There's so many of them out there, and there's so many different ways to do it. You could use like all sorts of crazy stuff. It really could get as complex as you want, but here's a few that I think work really well. Clay, Instantly, Apollo, HubSpot, Affinity. For follow-ups, try things like Zapier or Make.com to automate those tasks and follow-up emails. Use Airtable or Notion for simple founders. Don't just rely on spreadsheets alone. You need highly intelligent, interactive spreadsheets, data enrichment. You really want to nail it down and target your ideal client profile. Yes, I'm talking about sales again for investor outreach. You want an ideal client profile or ideal investor profile, IIP. I don't know if I just made that up, but that's what I think. Automate the heck out of it. There's so many incredible SDR tools out there. I know they're called SDR AI, but you could have SDR AI for investors, for new sales, for product, for new feature, for whatever. It's all cold outreach automations. And if you got problems with that or challenges, you don't know where to turn, reach out to me. I can help you out. Patrick at getcompound.com. That's compound with a K, getcompound.com. We do automations and outreach for financial advisors, for founders, for fundraisers, to get high net worth individuals booked on their meetings. And we can tell you a whole bunch more. Anyways, that's what I think. How important is a follow-up in the fundraising process? It's everything. Most investors don't say no, they just go dark. Follow up 5+ times, 7+ times, 10+ times, but don't do it like a robot and don't hound them and harass them. Spread it out, make it random, stretch it. Add value at every interaction, then create urgency. And again, treat it like sales. No follow-up, no close. All right, let's get into section 4, psychology, positioning, negotiation. What do most founders misunderstand about investor psychology? Investors aren't funding your product, they're funding outcomes. They're betting on belief, traction, ROI. They're betting on you. If they don't believe they're going to get 10x, they're going to pass. If they don't believe in you, they're going to pass. How can a founder build FOMO in a raise? Well, create momentum. I would say share, and this is something I've done and many others have done it better than me and more often than me, but share updates publicly. Set soft sales dates or closing dates. Name drop strategic conversations. FOMO happens when investors think they'll miss the deal, not just understand it. How do you recommend handling investor objections or pushback? Don't get defensive. Ask questions, understand the root of that problem, then respond with clarity, metrics, or updates. Remember, every no is a chance to refine your pitch or keep the door open. Then follow up. Go back to the couple questions ago and follow up. All right, what is the smartest way to use early no's to your advantage? Well, turn that no info feedback, turn it into great feedback. Learn from it. Learn from every no. Stay in touch with updates. So follow up on that no with updates. Sometimes a no in June becomes a yes in October if you show progress. And treat early rejections as intel, not losses. All right. Here's a good one that came in, and I like it because it talks about something that's a little different. What makes a data room impressive and what kills trust faster? This is the idea that I know that this founder actually has gone through the motions and perhaps has a mess of a data room or has way too much and due diligence fell apart. I don't know. Organizing that, by the way, we'll get into another time, but there's a lot you can do. All right, so what makes a data room impressive and what kills trust fast? Clean, organized, and complete wins deals. Cap table, financials, GTM, metrics. Use DocSend or Notion or even a Google Drive if you have to. What kills trust? Sloppy numbers, missing files, inflated projections with nothing to back it up. That just might kill your deal. All right. Getting into this a little more, if we talk about the CTA, the call to action and helping, and you can tell I've structured this in a little bit. I've taken the questions and juxtaposed them so they fit. But CTA wrap up. If a founder is listening right now and wants funding in the next 90 days, what should they do first? Book a strategy session with me or anyone else on my team. But jokingly aside, we'll map out your GTM, build your investor funnel, refine your narrative, and structure your raise like a campaign. We will use the human enhanced or AI enhanced human to be able to do that. You can visit me at empoweredentrepreneur.ca. You can DM me on LinkedIn, McGuire P, and we'll just have a free strategy session just to get together and talk about what you're doing. And I'll tell you the tools to automate with, and you can have at it yourself or ask our team to help you out. And if you DM me the word raise on LinkedIn or in YouTube, I'll send you the fundraising playbook just to get started. All right, there's so much more that we can get into. We can dive into things. That was my CTA, and I want you to remember that CTA for yourself. Offer something of value. The call to action is, I want to give you something, Mr. and Mrs. Founder, fundraiser, investor. But you need to do this in order to get it. So raise your hand, send me an email, DM me, comment on whatever it is we're doing. Ask for the detailed pro forma, and I'll send that to you. That is a very soft call to action and a very strong indicator that an investor is seriously interested and has given you permission to communicate with them. That's what I would do if I was a founder raising in the next 90 days. All right, part B to that. If a founder is listening right now and wants funding in the next 90 days, what should they do to take action? Well, I'm going to tell you to go back to what we talked about in one of my previous posts or messages, videos here, and I'm going to remind you, go into your LinkedIn, log in right now. While you're watching this, log in on the other screen. I know you got more than one. Log in, open LinkedIn, look at your network, start making messages. Hopefully you've got 3 to 5 messages on the side ready to go. Copy and paste the first one. And here's the model I would take. Reach out to 100 people, DM 100 today and every day for the next 30 days, and follow up with the 20 or so that respond. Don't try and sell them right away. Send them a connection request or a soft, how you doing, thinking of you. When they respond, hey, I'm working on something. I would love your input. Would you look at this for me and tell me what you think? When they respond, you give them the deck or material or one pager that you're looking at, whatever it is you want feedback on. And then when they're done, you can say, hey, I didn't hear back. I wanted to follow up with you. What'd you think of X asset? When they say, that's really cool, it's just not for me. Or if they don't say that, you say, hey, do you know anyone that would actually invest in a company like that? And right away, they're going to get defensive, as we talked about earlier, and they're going to stand back and go, whoa, wait, what about me? They're going to be offended that you didn't ask them to join your raise. Anyways, that's it. That is Empowered Entrepreneur fundraising in 21 questions or less, I think it was, maybe 22. But hopefully this has given you some insights into the way that I think, the way that founders should be thinking more. I'm not saying it's the right way, but in my opinion, knowing how to operate and knowing that when you're raising capital, you're actually selling equity. And this is when marketing and sales are one. And if anyone knows me, you've seen me around, you know that I believe that marketing and sales and dev actually are your future of all sales. Automation and AI, that's just part of the game. And if you're not doing it today, you're not in the game. Enjoy the pines, enjoy the bench. Sorry, hockey term, Canadian, eh? Anyways, serving the world and founders everywhere, I am Patrick McGuire with Empowered Entrepreneur. If you've got a fundraising initiative going right now and you don't know where to start, you're not even sure how to do KYC, compliance, reporting, cap table, ledgers for investors and shareholders, transactions are dispersing, message me. I've got a great platform. I've got a great partnership, one that I trust very well. They take care of all the headaches. So we, people like us, can focus on your go-to-market strategy and your fundraising campaign and automation. Because as great as a platform like that takes care of everything on the compliance and financial side, you still need to treat this as a sales outbound opportunity. And that requires automation and AI and humans to make it empowered. Have a great day. Take care, my friends. Be empowered. Chat soon, members. We'll see you in a little bit.